I'm Dublin City's coldest, you should know this. I've been rapping like a veteran, not a novice. Different flow when I drop a track.
Yes, what's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. Guys, I was scouring the internet looking for MMA videos to react to. I'm missing doing them, man. I had a stage where I did a lot of Khabib videos after the McGregor-Khabib fight. It was just a very easy option for me because the hype was there. But since really, I haven't really done anything. I did my McGregor video, which if you guys haven't seen, you'll understand why it's just a big blank canvas behind me. Can you see me? Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a huge McGregor fan, being Irish, growing up in an area that's, I suppose, very geographically close to where McGregor would have grown up, and he was just a very relatable character. Look, I've been through all of this before, I don't want to repeat myself. But today, I've seen an interview on the Mac Life that just popped up, and this video is just gonna be me reacting and giving my thoughts to maybe the best parts. There's just so much kind of controversy around him at the moment. His name has never been in a worse place, so I'm quite interested to see what he has to say. So yeah, without any further ado, let's jump into this video. Please do drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, guys, and let's go.
It's easy for someone to do this once, maybe even twice, but to do it year after year and time after time, you know, that's when your commitment can drop. That's when other things can get in the way. That's when I may start paying attention to the football again, and then the fighting, I'm not giving it I'm not giving it 24/7. You know what I mean? So that's it. Just stay focused and put the work in, and you know, if you are at it long enough, you will have ups and downs. You will have dips in commitment and lapses in concentration. But you just got to be honest to yourself and be aware, make those corrections, and carry on.
I mean, from a very literal standpoint, you can't really fault anything that he's saying. I mean, you do have lapses in focus, you do have lapses in concentration, you have bumps in the road where you maybe stray away from what brought you to the table, but words at this point in his career and with everything that's gone on are very, very cheap. I get where he's trying to say, but I mean, it just seems that like time and time again, he's just been back in this situation where he's like, I shouldn't have fucked up here. I mean, everyone can accept a loss. I mean, there's no one really criticizing him, well, apart from a lot of the trolls, for losing to Khabib, because it's almost somewhat disrespectful to Khabib to just completely discount McGregor for losing to Khabib, because Khabib's world class. He's arguably one of the best fighters in the world at this time, maybe number 1, 2, 3 pound for pound in the world. So to just say, oh, McGregor, you've lost it because you lost to Khabib, it's not really, that to me isn't why I criticize McGregor. It's all of the other shit, like it's the going off the rails after losing. Now I know you could argue that he generally does deal with losses quite well because of the Diaz one loss, and then he obviously came back. But yeah, that's just not like what people have gotten annoyed with. It's the fact that he's just gone off the rails, and he's just done a lot of stupid shit outside of the cage, and only that shit works, or you can only really get away with that shit outside of the cage when you have been winning, and that's just not what he's been doing. So I mean, I don't know, look, as much as I know people think that I've just completely abandoned McGregor and all that shit from the last video, I mean, I definitely do not look at him in the same light anymore, but it would really like hurt me as an Irish person to see him just fuck his whole career up. So maybe this is some form of redemption. I know you'll never get over the fact that he's punched that old man at the pub. That shit will always haunt him till the day he dies, and there'll always be people that troll him for it. But I mean, at what point do you just look past that and say, well, right, he's making the steps to go forward? And I mean, if he does shit again, you have to look at it again each individual time. But I mean, for the moment, it's just all this yapping, and we're just kind of sick of it.
I know Vasil Lomachenko very well. I've studied his fighting for many years. He's a phenomenal boxer, the pound for pound #1 boxer on the planet today, I believe. For me, you must compete in mixed martial arts. There comes a stage where, if you are not, you know, you've got to try. You are just lying to yourself if you stay in one discipline. It's not a complete fight. You've got to compete in mixed martial arts. I would like to see him compete now.
That's just not true at all.
I know he had some words about me or whatever, but me going to boxing to fight Floyd, it would be like him going to mixed martial arts to fight Henry Cejudo, who was an Olympic freestyle wrestling champion. I don't even think that's necessary. I don't think that's wise for him to do. But I do believe it's time for him to venture into mixed martial arts competition, personally.
Thank you.
I mean, so he's on the first hand he said he thinks that Lomachenko should venture into MMA and fight Cejudo or fight anyone. But then he's gone and said he doesn't think it would be wise for him to go and fight Cejudo. So, I mean, slight contradiction. I don't know if I've taken him up wrong in what he said there, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I mean, there is absolutely no need for Lomachenko to prove anything in MMA. At the end of the day, it's not a hardman competition, which is what I think McGregor seems to take it for sometimes in MMA, and that's just proven by some of his actions in the past. I mean, boxing is a sport in itself. There's no need for Lomachenko to prove that he can compete in a real fight. Yes, it would be great to see him move over. It would be something absolutely spectacular, and I'm sure Lomachenko, if he learned maybe a solid takedown defense, good sprawl, maybe he could compete and he could do quite well, because his hands are absolutely amazing, his movement's amazing, his footwork's amazing, but there's just no need for him to move over, so I don't really see where he's going with that one.
The question is, what were the weak spots of Khabib that you've mentioned with your team that you could use if you decide to have an next fight?
I believe we overestimated his grappling severely, and we also underestimated his striking. So
okay, so he's given some ground. That's always nice to see.
I believe I was winning the clinch exchanges.
I was going to pause it there real quick. So this has been the kind of running narrative since the Khabib McGregor fight, is that McGregor puts the loss on the fact that he put too much emphasis on how good Khabib is at grappling, and too little emphasis. Well, to be honest, the too little emphasis on his boxing and his hands is the first I'm hearing of this. All I've heard from McGregor is that he put too much emphasis on how good Khabib is, and there was some rumours and speculation that McGregor had kind of had a falling out with John Kavanagh, his head coach, because he was just following John Kavanagh's instructions to really focus on how good Khabib is going to be at wrestling, which I do get the argument, but I think it's a bit of a cheap argument to say, oh well, I got grappled into the ground and ultimately the grappling was what killed me at the end of the day, but we overestimated it and we should have looked into fighting our own fight. I mean, it doesn't actually make any sense what he's saying. I get where he's trying to go, but when you really break it down factually, he's basically saying that we overestimated his grappling, yet the grappling was actually what fucked him up completely.
In round three, in round three in the bout, but it was a little too late in the bout, and also my lack of commitment, and I wasn't as fully committed as I should be, carrying injuries and whatnot. So there's many things we can improve and sharpen up when the rematch happens.
And thank you for this.
I like that when, because I do want to see the rematch, even though I think he will lose.
Like you all sit together, you have a computer.
I do want to see it, and I think a lot of people will share that.
For me, when I left the arena, I was just watching the bout repeatedly over and over and over again, and that's it, just continuing, just analysing the sequences, the moments, and then referring them to the training camp, what we were doing in training and what was not necessary, what was necessary. Exactly like I was speaking on earlier, analyse what went right, what went wrong, make amends and carry on. So we will continue and we will make this right, no doubt.
Okay, so it's definitely good to hear him speak like that from an objective fight fan point of view, because the first fight brought so much drama. Now it ended quite subpar. I mean, there was nothing very exciting about the fight in terms of how competitive it was, but it's always good to hear that he has that mindset, like he's not just completely packing it in. Now I know that will never be the way he'll speak anyway, he'll never just admit defeat, but it does set up somewhat of an intriguing rematch, even though me personally, I do think it'll be the exact same outcome, and you can quote me on that, this may be used again in a clip against me, but I mean, just from the first fight and what I'd seen, I just don't think McGregor will have much to offer unless he can catch Khabib early. But I mean, he has had that opportunity, and sometimes you can just meet your match, and I think that Khabib will be that person for McGregor going forward. But again, I'd still love to see the fight, because the build up, the bad blood and everything, the way the last fight spilled out into the crowd as well, it just makes for entertainment.
Your next two fights, who are you gonna fight?
We're very close to announcing it, not just yet, but surely over the course of this trip we should have an announcement, so that's what we're aiming for.
And then, so there's at least commitment for one match, but are you gonna have more, like 2 or 3? For how long do you want to stay in MMA?
For me, I am looking at this next. For me, I used to fight every couple of weeks really before the UFC came. Then it was every couple of months. Now the politics of the prize got involved, and it's almost I fight one and then I go off. I do not like that. You can't be like that in this game. I must continue. Consistency is another word. You must be consistent. So once we get once we get the first one done and when we get past the politics of this, I will continue to go. I've faced very little damage inside the octagon. So I'm
That's
eager to
facts,
get
to be
going
fair.
and continue. Like if I look at the run I had up to Eddie Alvarez when I won the second world title, it was consecutive bouts, bout. So I went into that Eddie Alvarez fight sharp, aware, fully prepared. And what happened on the night. One of the greatest performances in any title fight ever in the UFC. So that's what we are looking to continue on in the next time. Again, analyze what went wrong in the past, analyze what went right in the past. Use
Khabib
it
is
to go forward.
a different animal to Eddie
Do you
Alvarez.
have
though.
very
Eddie Alvarez
rivals that you really want to fight
just
in mind
could not hack that
later?
pressure.
I actually, funny enough, I just want to compete now. I was trying to get the December 14th card. For whatever reason, they've been holding me back. I'm giving them dates. I'm saying I want to fight this date, this date, this date, and this date in a row. And we had opponents selected and everything, and they're just making it very difficult for me for whatever reason. So now I'm kind of in a position where I'm actually I'm attempting to set up an event, a charity event. So I will compete. I've done this before in my hometown, but I've done it under boxing, in an amateur boxing event in my old boxing club, Crumlin Boxing Club.
Just to pause it there before he goes on to the amateur boxing fight that he had in Crumlin for charity, whatever it was, in Crumlin Boxing Club. That was interesting to hear him say that. And this is him who's saying that now, so I mean, it's not really even open to interpretation at this point. He's literally just said it, that he's struggling, or he almost alluded to the fact that the UFC are making it hard for him to fight now. So I don't think it's the UFC being spiteful, because in a way McGregor has always almost done that to the UFC, where he's tried to call the shots. And now with the almost downward spiral that McGregor's career has gone on over the last few months, and that's just looking at it objectively, there's nothing opinionated about that. Just literally, if you look at it, I mean, he's had losses, he's had bad press, but it's just interesting that he said that there, that he's almost being held back. Now, I'm not trying to suggest that the UFC don't want him to fight, because they know it will make him money, but it's almost like, it seems like a kind of slap on the wrists, or like kind of putting him back in his place, because I think he was nearly running away with the reins there for a bit, where he was almost telling the UFC what was up. So maybe this is their way of trying to get him back. Now maybe it's just they have something planned for him and they don't want to let him get any form of leeway, but it's just interesting that it seems like the tables have now switched back to the way they should have always been, because I think he got a bit too, well, I know for a fact that he got too big for his boots, and he almost felt as though he was bigger than the UFC. So yeah, interesting.
Zero prize. I do not care about the prize. The prize is in my home. I have 5 prizes in my home that I seek to get. I've got them. I just want to compete now. I want to come back. I want to get sharp. I want to show the best of myself. You know what I mean? And continue to climb. So that's what I'm seeking to do. So we are looking to do that sometime in December. Hopefully have a charity mixed martial arts event for 0 prize. The prize will go to charity. So that's what we are aiming for. So.
And to add up to that,
I mean, as much as I commend the charity gig, what have we really come to with McGregor at this point? That I get it, he wants to compete and he's trying to suggest that he'll do anything just to compete, so if it means doing a charity gig, then yes. But I mean, this is a guy who's gone from Madison Square Garden, like the iconic image of him sitting up on top of the cage with the 2 belts, John Kavanagh right in front of him, like, I don't know, man. It just seems a bit like it's almost as if his time is up. Because if he comes back against Khabib, it's just like I don't see anything but the last result, the way it ended the first time, happening again. A charity gig isn't exactly a big deal to come back to. I mean, after such a big loss, to come back and do it in a charity event, I don't know, man. It's just weird. It's a weird situation. I hate to see it, because obviously he's played such a huge part in my enjoyment of the sport over the last few years, and I'd imagine a lot of Irish people share the same sentiment, but I don't know, it's just hard to see how he really bounces back from all of the shit that's gone on, because it almost seems like the division and the sport has kind of forgotten about him, left him in the past a bit. Now I know that once he comes back, his attention and everything will boom back up again, and once there is a fight announced, the hype will build, but it's almost as if the UFC and everyone around them knows that they don't need him anymore.
is there anyone like
I think he senses that as well.
Maybe Party Match can assist me in that. Maybe we can set this up. You know,
Party Match. What is Party
we are
Match?
looking to do.
That's
Nothing
obviously
got to do
the
with anything.
brand or
Just
whatever that they're
a
sponsoring
charitable
or
belt
promoting at the moment.
where I compete for my fans. The fans are eager The lady said, we miss you, and it's been so long since you fought. I agree, it has been so long, and it's not good. It's not applicable to the game. It's not how I rose to be the greatest of all time in this game. You've got to be consistent with it. So I'm looking to get back in and compete, and we are doing it any way possible, and I would love to do it for charity. I even offered for the Frankie Edgar bout to donate my purse to charity. I said, you can get, because they were saying they won't make enough money on the Frankie fight, and I was like, I don't care. Like, don't worry about me, give my purse to charity, but for whatever reason it's being made difficult. But like I said, we're almost there, so it's never easy with this crowd.
Thank you for sharing that. So now we're going for the predictions. Masvidal versus Diaz.
I think Diaz beats him. He's got crisper boxing, way more experience, and I think Masvidal has had a good run. He's on a 2-fight win streak. The game is very forgetful, I believe. Our sport is. I think Diaz has enough in it to do him. I think he's in a better space. You've got to factor in that. What kind of space is the fighter in? Because everyone's the best on their day. You know what I mean? So I think Diaz beats him.
I'd probably disagree with that one. I think
It'd be an
Masvidal
interesting one.
him.
I think Khabib would probably beat him. Again, you've got to see what the circumstances are. Anyone can win on any given.
If that fight ever happens, then I actually don't have a prediction for that one, to be honest. Great fight. Definitely make it a point to cover some of that fight. Obviously, I know you guys will be interested with the Khabib fans that I have on the channel. Tony Ferguson's just a fucking weird guy as well, so he's always interesting to cover. But man, I actually don't have a dog in that fight.
I think the winner of Masvidal Diaz and Khabib Ferguson.
I designed that bad motherfucker belt. I actually designed that. I signed off on the design of how they are creating that belt. So most certainly, that belt was brought into fruition, brought to life because of me, the real bad motherfucker. So most certainly, one of those men is on my radar.
I mean, I don't know how much of that is going to be left in, but in a lot of ways he does seem like his old self in the sense that he's confident. It almost seems like he's trying a little bit too hard with the charity side of things to, like, I just want to fight, I want to donate all my purse. It's almost if he just knows that he's under a lot of pressure at the moment with the media, with the fans, that he's just kind of like, look, is there anything I can do at this point to try and win some of you guys back? Oh wait, let's just donate a lot of this to charity. But he knows realistically that that's not going to happen. It's a bit of an empty promise because, I mean, with the UFC, obviously there's contracts involved. He can't just go off and do his own thing and just do a charity fight. Well, maybe he can. I don't know the ins and outs and the specifics of what he can and can't do, but it just seems a little bit unrealistic and a bit of a kind of just a thrown away comment. But I'd like to know what you guys think, guys. Although I've had mixed feelings about McGregor in the past, I mean, anyone who knows my opinions, I like to try and stay objective. As much as I'd love McGregor to just cut all the bullshit and just be the great fighter that we know him from, or we have known him for being, I just don't have enough information or faith in him that he will be able to completely strive away from all of the shit that he's brought up in the past. There's just been too many occurrences where he's just done really, really dumb shit in the media that's just given himself and Irish people a bad name. And as much as I don't really buy into the whole people who just hate Irish people because of McGregor, because those people are just stupid anyway, it's just when it keeps happening, it's kind of just like, it just gets a bit old and there's only so much you can defend him for that. So that's kind of my thoughts, guys. Again, like I said, I don't know how much is going to be left in there, but I'd love to know your thoughts. So do let me know in the comment section down below. As always, the comment section will be open to any requests. So if you have any videos MMA related that you need me to check out, or you just want me to check out, then do let me know as well, guys. Please drop the video a like if you enjoyed my thoughts. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And that's going to be it for the video, guys. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.